final day, not including the tiebreakers, is finally upon us here at the Eastern European DPC Division 2. We had 3 long tours of Division 1 and Division 2, and it has been an honor participating in every single one of them. I'm Harry Freak, and I'm going to be bringing you the day's action, and they're going to be 2 games that, well, you know, just looking at them from afar, you are like, yeah, they don't matter much. Both of the teams that are there are 2 teams that are staying in Division 2 100%. There are 2 teams that are being eliminated 100%. The guys that are being eliminated are cybercats and Sibe, and they're gonna be playing respectively cybercats versus moneymakers and Sibe versus Matryoshka. Overall, Matryoshka and moneymakers, they're definitely gonna be going through. The only thing that is gonna be decided today is, are we gonna have a 3-way tie? Are we gonna have a 4-way tie? Are we maybe going to have a Navi Jr. and Storm having 3 and 4 score, and Matryoshka and moneymakers having 4 and 3 score, which is very likely considering the current results? I don't know, but we will be getting all of that knowledge as we move on into the day. That being said, we do have a draft at the ready, and cybercats, they get their hands on the Chen, which in all regions, in all situations, has been looking pretty unstoppable, but same is true for the Morphling and the Undying. Moneymakers, they had a chance to play tiebreakers for Division 1. They just needed to beat Sibe, and then now they need to beat cybercats. The 2 teams that just got eliminated, destroyed by everybody, but they lost to Sibe. Sibe didn't win a single map until that point, and then moneymakers, well, they dropped the ball. So now they cannot go to Division 1. Navi and Team Sexy have already claimed those positions, but they can at least secure that they are 3rd on the table. Currently, they are sharing that spot with both Navi Jr., Storm, and Matryoshka, but at the end of the day, they could be the only ones having it, or maybe sharing it with Matryoshka if both of these teams play their cards right. But going into what ifs, what's gonna happen if this guy does this, stuff like that, we're not gonna do it all that much here, just not to confuse you before the game starts. Like always, you're gonna enjoy Dota, and then towards the end of the day, we're gonna give you all the outcomes and all the info that you need considering the tiebreakers. So they did pick up a PL, which versus the Morphling and the Undying is actually a really good pick. But once the Morphling does get the Aghanim Scepter, unless you do have a Lincoln Sphere, you're kind of screwed in the PL. Of course, you have the Chen, you should be able to do quite well. Penitence is also a spell that the PL benefits a lot from. Used on somebody, he starts smashing them. There's going to be a lot of illusions spawning very, very fast. So that's something that you do want to combo up. As moneymakers, they pick up a Spirit Breaker. This is a good Shadow Demon game for sure for cybercats. I'm actually surprised that moneymakers didn't ban it out there before picking up the Spirit Breaker. It looks like a straight up go-to pick. It would be a problem a little bit when it comes to the lockdown of your supports, but you would have the Chen creeps to contribute a little bit in that department. I don't see a reason not to pick the Shadow Demon here. It looks amazing.
Dire team pick. Radiant
Beastmaster.
They're gonna go for the Beastmaster, and the Snapfire will be the pick. That could be a mid lane hero as well on the Snap. I guess depending on what gets picked up in the mid lane, if it's a melee hero, you're probably gonna send the Snapfire there. But it is very likely that this is a position 4, and the cybercats just wanted to have this as their double off lane. Though I don't see the Beastmaster Snapfire is necessarily that strong versus the Undying Morph. Right? It just feels... It is a strong lane, and you do get rid of the Tombstone fast, but I don't see how you pressure the Morphling. That's the thing. Maybe if you catch him off guard with a cookie, maybe you can kill him, but preventing him from hitting creeps is going to be next to impossible. What do moneymakers want? They are in need of some magical damage burst, something that's gonna allow them to kill people, because the Spirit Breaker and the Undying don't really do that much damage, so you're already lacking in terms of damage output on your supports. You could pick an offlaner right now. You do know that the PL is The part of the game. The thing is that a lot of the offlaners don't really do well with the PL. I guess you could go for an Underlord, but it's not really a damage dealing hero. But they'll take their time. You don't want a Mars, which is kind of a damage dealing hero, because versus the PL later on in the game, he just does nothing. You get surrounded by so many illusions, and your bulwark is pretty much useless in those moments. You could go for something like a Necro, but that's a little bit too static. So they'll get the techies. I like this better because it does put the Spirit Breaker on the core role. In general, the Spirit Breaker does well versus the PL. In this game in particular, the stuns that cybercats have aren't really good enough to keep the Spirit Breaker in place. Roar, Kaki, all of these things can be easily dealt with by the bulldoze. You don't have any instant stuns. You're gonna be needing the Yules versus him. You currently don't have a single purge. So all in all, it is a really good hero. Plus, the high magical damage output of the Greater Bash during the charge is actually great at dealing with illusions. So all in all, you are a good hero versus the PL. Plus, the second that you get the Vanguard is the second that the PL's right clicks just completely stop bothering you.
5 seconds remaining.
Ah, guys, you see that festive mug. Merry Christmas. Yep. Seems like I've been drinking out of the same one. This is from this year's, so I bought it this year, got it this year. Either way,
Dire team ban.
it just has a nice festive look to it, so we'll definitely be using it probably until it breaks. Cybercats, they ban out the Lesh and the Necro. I talked about the Necro, we saw him yesterday. It's one of the heroes that crushed Na'Vi at the start of the game, but Na'Vi in the end did manage to find ways to deal with the hero. The only bad thing about Moneymakers here is they don't really have aura builders. Versus the Beastmaster and the Chen, that could be a problem looking forward, because Cybercats could out-sustain you in fights.
Dire team pick.
Moneymakers, they ban out the Ember. Not a lot to deal with him. They saw the Necro ban, they just assumed that that could be the case. So what's left? Puck, Void Spirit. No, Puck is banned out. Void Spirit is left. Both of the teams are gonna be struggling to
10 seconds
get some of the mid laners. Pango is out. Those are the big ones. Let's see what the teams have been playing recently. Cybercats, Ember Spirit. They play the Pango. They play the Magnus. No, wait, that's not them. Ember and Puck. No.
Radiant team pick.
Okay. Is that the first Invoker here? I mean, Cybercats are getting eliminated either way, so maybe they're... Yep, that's the first Invoker of Division 2. And Young G, well, now his team are gonna be giving him his heroes. He is very well known for his Invoker. He definitely knows what he's doing, and that's the Tornado can deal with the Bulldoze. So I like it in that regard. Pretty cool, pretty cool. You can stop the techies from blast-offing in. With your Tornado, the Morphling definitely doesn't like his mana getting burned down. I don't know if it's gonna be an Exort or a Quaswax Invoker, but either way, I'm hoping we're in for a show. So now the second that I see the Invoker, what comes to mind is a TA. Though versus the PL, you're not gonna be picking that one up. Invoker doesn't do well with tanky mid laners. Something like a Kunkka would be amazing for Moneymakers if Yegor wants to play it. But let's just go with the Queen of Pain. It's something that's a little bit more established in the current meta, though. In general, the Invoker does well versus the Queen. You have a lot of range, you have a lot of regen with your Quas, be it a Quas Wex or an Exort Invoker. Your Quas is going to be getting some love, so you can sustain yourself through the constant harassment coming out from Yegor. I have to say I like the Cybercats lineup quite a lot. It is a little bit out there from the meta, and this is gonna be my answer, right? Is in Division 2, can you get away with a bit of a different pick? Or is it just let's pick the heroes that are currently in the meta? Because Moneymakers, they literally went with Morphling strong, Undying strong, Spirit Breaker strong, Techie strong, and then Queen of Pain strong as well. Which I have nothing against it, but I have to say the meta has gotten kind of stale and a little bit boring as well in cybercats, they're definitely going to be putting a little bit of spice in it with the first invoker pick. A Starfire that doesn't get picked up that often, and most of the times when we saw it, it was picked up as a mid laner. So this time around, that's not going to be the case. It will be Young G on the invoker. I feel like cybercats could win this one, but we'll see how strong those heroes can actually be. As before we do get ourselves into the game, we'll have a word from our sponsors over at EGB.
Bets on esports, bets on streamers, impressive bonus system. Welcome bonus up to $600, cashback, artifacts, regular promotions, daily giveaways. Try yourself as a bookmaker. Great lines. EGB.com, more than just a bookmaker.
And game number 1 of MoneyMakers versus cybercats commences. It is going to be an Exort Invoker. Looking at the odds from EGB, equal for both teams. MoneyMakers, they definitely lost a lot of credibility losing the game versus Sibe just a day ago. So they are they're on everybody's radar as somebody who could lose against anyone, and it would be really, really bad for them if they would lose versus the two relegated teams, because they really had a solid season just before that Sibe game. We have a chance for a 4-way tie. That's what's gonna happen if both Matryoshka and MoneyMakers lose today.
30 seconds.
I actually don't even know how things are played if there's a 4-way tie. They're like a small tournament. I'm gonna be finding that one out in the future breaks, but I doubt it will happen. MoneyMakers losing to cybercats, that I can see, but Matryoshka losing to Sibe, well, that's a bit of a tougher one for me to believe in. As Slayer just comes over, postures aggressively, that rune is mine, and MoneyMakers, even with a Morphling, they are gonna be they're gonna be able to steal the rune, making it the 2 for 2. Cybercats 2, and MoneyMakers, they get 2 themselves. Morphling is one of those heroes that you would love to fight level 1, but the Undying is a type of hero that you never want to fight level 1. Even if you find him alone in the jungle, he gets like double, triple decay off, and it becomes a problem. Mid lane, Invoker versus the Queen. This should be okay for the Invoker. I could see him coming out ahead. As the game progresses, of course, the Queen of Pain with an Aghanim Scepter versus a PL, it's gonna be a lot of damage flying around, but I do believe that the Invoker could do well in this one. I really like the cybercats draft. Question is, how well can you utilize it? Do you know how to move with it on the map? Considering it's not something that's commonly played nowadays. Bottom lane, it is gonna be the Spirit Breaker and the Techies versus Dark Lord on the PL and the Collis on his trusty Chen. This should be a Spirit Breaker favored matchup, but for now he's not doing the greatest in terms of CS. We'll see if he'll be able to equalize that. For now, just queued up the phase boots, but I would say that the straight up Vanguard is probably better. Despite phase boots probably giving you more damage, the Vanguard would just make you unkillable in this lane, just completely unkillable. Versus the creeps, versus the PL, they don't do any damage. And Vierk does get the creeps back here. PL is all alone. This is what happens when you have a Chen. I mean, he just wants to be picking up creeps in the jungle, and whilst he's doing that, Vierk will have a nice time just smashing Dark Lord in the face. The Collis wasn't happy with the creeps in the jungle. He just picks up the lane creep. Not the stack off, but about it. Mid lane Invoker doing well versus the Queen as expected. I really like that pick. I'm actually surprised that it's not being picked up more versus the Queen. The Collis in trouble. Ah, this is first blood, Big Num. Those Their sticky bombs, they actually do quite a lot of damage. Verk even had a charge, so you were never gonna live. And now he's gonna be using it where the bashes. He's not gonna be having any luck with those. But if he had, the Dark Lord could have easily died. Not gonna be using the Doppelganger, even though it does get super dangerous for him. The Moneymakers winning top. Mid lane in favor of cybercats. Moneymakers safe lane. It's currently even, but to me it's looking like DK Focus should be coming out of this one ahead as well. The Undying wants to be a nuisance, but that's where the Snapfire comes in, right? Snapfire and the Beastmaster together can actually threaten the Undying, so you always have to be careful just how aggressive you can play in terms of securing the CS for your Morphling. And I mean, look at the Snapfire, the hero even has 6 CS. Gonna be getting more. Take there. Oh, there's the 7th one. So it's not only the Beastmaster having more CS, but also Force Majeure stealing a lot of the creeps there for himself as well. Collis finds a Litter Centaur, but well, the poor guy will be dead. He's not as strong as his big brother. As the game continues, no kills other than that first blood. The Collis will be dropping low again, and this time around Verk will be a little bit more successful on his bash. It's very important on this hero to know how to bash, when to bash. If you don't, then you're not really good at playing the Spirit Breaker, are you? So it is gonna be an Exort Invoker, all into the lane winning. I don't see good setups for the Sunstrike though. Especially during the laning phase. We'll see if Young G and how well he can work with DK Focus once the roar does come. These two are probably the best to be working together. We'll see just how well they're gonna be able to combo those two spells. It's really not hard to hit, but the thing is, the Morphling is probably gonna be your target, and well, he can see the animation and start morphing into strength. Yegor trying to CS as much as he can, but he's definitely struggling on the top lane. Dark Lord, he is gonna be struggling quite a lot. The 2 mud golems are here. They're gonna be hurling some boulders, but the Spirit Breaker, he takes it like a cow. We all know that cows are very hard to move, and dropping a couple of pebbles towards them, that doesn't really change things much for him. So the top lane continues to dominate for him. The PL is getting some CS. He's not crushed, but the top lane is definitely not going well for him. Yegor stunned up by the mud golems. Bignum now gonna be in trouble, but they don't have any more spells to work with. As Yegor, I'm not sure what he's doing, but it's very dangerous currently because he'll die. Yeah, he was just running through those trees. Yegor.
That was perfect.
Yeah, that was not perfect, my friend. Just running into the trees over and over again. Considering that you are a mid laner, you should at least have learned a couple of those trees around the mid. That's the smallest part of the map that you need to learn all of the little tricks to go through it. That's really unexpected. The bash, you need a bash Verk if you want the kill. If you had gotten in there, it would have been quite bad. And the Spirit Breaker, it will be annoyed a bit, but definitely not enough to feel threatened. Once those hurl boulders come out, I'm always thinking, oh, the Invoker rotated because of the cold snap, but no, those are just mini stuns from the hurl boulder. 2 of them coming in quick succession. Both wisdom runes into the pockets of position 4s. No surprises. No steals. Charge from Yerk. There's the bash. That should hurt. He's gonna be killing these. A nice rotation from Slayer. Just finds the PL. Now they're gonna be turning around onto the Collis, but Bignum, he's got a little bit ahead of himself. Actually, no, baited the Collis Chen perfectly, and Yegor will be rotating towards the top lane, towards his Spirit Breaker, just to get a little bit more farm there on the enemy heroes. The Queen is behind the Invoker. That's the biggest net worth difference we have on the map, especially now with Young G having the Midas. That's even gonna continue even further. But it is what it is. If you make a mistake with Young G, if you step out and let's say there's a charge, you could very easily die still in this game. I'm even expecting Young G to go for a Lincoln Sphere this game. I wouldn't be surprised if he goes for it as a second item just to prevent the charges from coming through. Morphlink will be going for a Falcon Blade. All small items on him currently. He's delivering the boots. The full power treads actually for him. We'll turn the Band of Elephant Skin into it. Wait, the mid lane is just a catastrophe for the Queen. DP bottom from the Spirit Breaker. He wants to help. DK Focus is there. You need to share that damage with Slayer. Not gonna be doing it. Now goes for the Nether Strike. Slayer says, no problem. I've got this on my own. They'll get the deny onto the Tombstone Force Majeure. He won't be getting that one. They'll stop him with the Adaptive Strike, and Jaeger will be there to pick up the kill with the Sonic Wave. When it comes to rotations, Moneymakers are just on point, but even with all of that, the net worth of the Invoker is keeping cybercats ahead in net worth overall.
Radiant structures are fortified.
The biggest problem I see here is that the Invoker is not a playmaker. So you could start suffering fairly soon if you're not able to fight, because your other two cores are really having a bad time. The PL will go for an Aghanim Scepter, so that's not really a battle-ready item, is it? And he needs some thought. Whereas the Beastmaster, he's going for a Vanguard. I'm guessing the Crimson Guard could be an approach, or even the Aghanim Scepter isn't that bad on DK Focus. There is some burst damage though, so you might get killed before the heals kick in from the Drums of Slom. Okay, this is big. Techie is being 6, pre-minute 10. Having those proximity mines, you can kill the Invoker if Young G is not careful. Of course, it's easier said than done. Now he has a point in Wex, so the Tornado is available for him to stop you. And if the Blast Off doesn't connect well, you can't really hope for much in terms of killing the Invoker, can you? All in all, a very slow start for cybercats. They only have 1 kill. They do have a 1k gold lead though, but the game doesn't feel like it's in their control at the moment. They still need a lot more time, and currently Moneymakers, they're doing their best to take that time away. Okay, they're stealing the stack. With proximity mines, they'll be able to do just that. No more proximity mines for the techies, but they're gonna be coming back fairly shortly. Oh, Big Num, he just jumps away. He knew that the enemies were coming for his life. Cybercats, now they just want to farm those ancients. They know that they have been spotted though. With the Beastmaster in your team, it's kind of a given that there are gonna be ancient stacks. Not a lot of them though. Game continues to be pretty passive. Top tower did fall, so that's gonna be getting the PL out of hiding a little bit. You cannot let your tier 2 take some damage, but the Spirit Breaker, he has a Shadow Blade. It is pretty strong. We'll be going on to DK Focus here. Couple of bashes. He needs mana for his ulti, but no, he's just gonna be getting those bashes out. The Morphling, no, he's just gonna be looking at DK Focus running away. Without the Nether Strike, you were never gonna get that kill. This is the problem with the Spirit Breaker. Sometimes the mana is just lacking.
Mine. Invisibility.
Well, no kills will happen. Bjerg will be trying again. The Seeds of Serenity protecting the Beastmaster. Nice cookie onto DK Focus. That could have been his last meal, but nope. He's gonna have the HP necessary to survive. Even the Healing Lotus was ready. What they are trying to do is go for the tower here, but poor Slayer, he will be losing his his tombstone before they're actually able to do any significant damage to the tier 1 on the bottom.
Worthy tribute.
Lucas? Nah, he had more than enough HP to live through there. Nice attempt from the Invoker, though. You know that the Morphling will be farming. You're thinking maybe he's gonna be super low, which is something that the Morphlings do from time to time. But in the end, that pure damage Sunstrike isn't gonna be enough. I think it was shared by the creep as well in the end, though. Not 100% certain. EGB odds changing slightly. The chart there looking like an EKG chart. Those pretty much look like heart palpitations. Is Dark Lord? He thought he could be greedy with the doppelganger and... Oh, actually he didn't have it. He used it to farm. Okay, then he really couldn't have done anything. Just accept his destiny. The Spirit Breaker is working out wonders. He crushed the laning phase. He's 2-0-4. He's everywhere on the map as DK Focus. He might have survived earlier. This time around, though, they're coming in numbers, and with the Queen of Pain going in, this is how you scream. You're gonna hear me roar. That's what Yegor will be doing on the bottom lane, and the poor Beastmaster, well, he will see that his throat is not on the same level as the one of the Queen of Pain.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
The Wisdom Rune will get stolen. It's quite big. Yegor, he says, mine, 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 and will be given it to him.
Dire's bottom tower.
You do need some extra experience, considering that the Invoker is over you with the Midas. But Invoker is going for an Octarine core. Interesting. It makes you stronger, but I wasn't expecting that. Force Majeure puts down the Seeds of Serenity, healing himself up underneath the tower. That's not a dive that Vierch is ready to commit for. It is looking rather tough for cybercats to get a kill. This is a problem with their lineup. Other than the roar, they don't have anything. They still haven't used Mortimer's Kisses for a single time, but we're seeing that Force Majeure is around the mid lane, probably thinking about going for it. Moneymakers, they're not thinking about going for it, they are going for it, taking everything in their wake, and they have found the Invoker. That's the big one. The cookie will be fed to him, but this time around, with the cookie being used as a defensive tool, it will be a last meal for one of his cores. The Invoker, he has been farming greatly up until this point, and he will be dying at one of the crucial parts of the map, losing the mid lane tower in the process, and well, none of his teammates could really change anything about it.
Middle tower has fallen.
So this is the answer, guys. Stay with the tried and true, something that's strong in the meta. There's a reason that everybody is picking it, that the pubs are being won with it. These heroes of Moneymakers are just pretty strong. They have so many ways of making plays. I don't even want to put it all on the heroes. They are making good plays, but cybercats, they have nothing to threaten with. Like, all roar is used, what now? And they're not even using that roar because they know that Moneymakers will be free to do whatever the hell they want once the spell has been used. Bjerg, charge in onto the Grandma. Doesn't have the Nether Strike. The dust will be coming out, but with the Bulldoze, he'll just run himself away. The Seed Shot will slow him down slightly, and they're thinking about chasing him in there with the neutral creeps feeding the cookies to them, but they will decide it is not worth it as the score is 11-1. We only have ones here. Thing is that cybercats, considering the net worth of their cores, they only have one at the moment. I'm being strict on him there. Running through the mines, DK Focus, and the army of Chen creeps. Going forward, DK Focus does have a pipe, so that's gonna help. Dark Lord has been found. Dark Lord will be destroyed. He does have a doppelganger in a second, but the bash comes out just before he uses it, and then the proximity mine will be finishing him off. A very lucky bash coming out from Vierkes. They're gonna be going on to the Colossus. Moo! And this Chen will be the second casualty of war as Yegor continues to destroy everybody in his wake. He's going forward. That's a little bit too deep, my friend, and this should be a dead Queen of Pain. Actually blinks away to the side. He does have the Pavis protecting him, and this is what the Arcane Rune gives you, just the ability to go in and out without much many problems, and this is just it. Cybercats, they have nothing to respond with. They didn't purge off that arcane rune the second he jumped in. Just made it very, very easy for the Queen of Pain to maneuver in and out of the fights any way he wishes. They have the Glimmer Cape, they have the Pavis. Both of the supports have the defensive items on the side of Moneymakers. Cybercats, there was nothing they could do about it. Queen of Pain, considering he was playing versus the Invoker, only 1 point in Shadow Strike. Usually we won't see a maxed out Blink when the Queen of Pain is level 10 and level 12. But Queen of Pain does get it. Now he does have the Sanjin Kaya, which means the next on the menu is an Aghanim Scepter. This is just looking a little bit too easy for Moneymakers. Cybercats, what's their response? They do have the Aghanim Scepter on the PL, so he will be able to push out the waves a little bit more effectively with his Spirit Lance. Does he even have it maxed out? Yeah, he does. Oh, only one doppelganger. Spirit Breaker. What's he going for? The Octarine Core. Okay, makes sense. He needs some extra mana. And mana regen as well. Spirit Breaker coming forward. This could be a kill. Vieira, he wants in. It's going to be going in with a charge, taking a lot of damage, but he will be protected. Bevis is there. And ulti from the Snapfire will be giving them a kill. Sonic Wave onto the Beastmaster. They're going to be jumping in. The cookie stolen from the Snapfire. It will not get the connection. Now the roar onto the Undying. The Spirit Lance bouncing around quite nicely. They've lost 3 heroes, Moneymakers. Cybercats, they finally make a stand, a really strong one at that. Even the PL does get involved, and his contribution to the fight, it really was massive. He was the highest damage dealer of them all. Yeah, that ward definitely contributing to the win of Cybercats. They were more than ready. Poor Morphling, he was just using spells there, left and right, his own, and the ones from the Snapfire just wasn't enough. Wasn't enough. I'd say, is this enough for Cybercats? They didn't even use the Hand of God there. Not needed to keep a single hero alive. With the pipe, they're already super tanky, so maybe this was the timing that they were looking for. The problem is that you have that you're still super far behind. That's the main issue. With all of the auras that you have, you might just be able to stand your ground. And Moneymakers, when you look at their lineup, they're not the greatest of damage dealers, other than the Queen of Pain. They're all kind of mediocre. Until the Morphling gets super fat in terms of items. The thing about the Queen of Pain, once you get an Aghanim Scepter, that hero alone might be enough. But right now for Moneymakers, the call is probably just not to engage. Snapfire has a Spirit Vessel, which is big, and Moneymakers walking into the pit. The Invoker is on the other side of the map, but look at how close Cybercats are. Mortimer Kiss is not going to be up for 15 seconds. Cybercats, Invoker going to be coming in with the Boots of Travel. You have a ton of creeps that he can TP to. Makers, they need to bail. They need to bail now. This fight here around the Roche pit could change the way that this game is going. Moneymakers, they're definitely happy with the status quo. Usually when you're 7k gold ahead, 22 minutes in, you are happy with the status quo. The new round of Wisdom Runes, they will spawn. Spirit Breaker, continuing to be a nuisance there with the charges. Does a ton of damage. Even 10 heroes here. Just bringing the tension. Bignum getting gone on. He will be slowed down. Should be able to run away. Vieira charges in. Immediately the Tornado will be there, removing the Bulldoze. The Sonic Wave keeping them away. That's a really good ice wall. It has been placed in a really good way, making it impossible for the two heroes of Moneymakers to move whatsoever. Lucas, he did turn into the PL, but they're gonna have to run fast, or it's gonna be a disaster. The Sunstrike won't hit on anybody. Lucas turns into the PL once again. He has to run, uses the Manta to remove the Diffusal Blade slow, but they're really burning through that mana fast, and Lucas is in trouble. He's gonna be going for another doppelganger, but they know exactly who the real one is with the waveform. But get himself away from now, and the chase from Cybercats will stop. They win another fight. The Invoker is doing a hell of a lot of spells, and he's casting out a hell of a lot of spells. That ice wall It was just amazing. Amazing from him. Making sure that the Spirit Breaker cannot leave the fight. Making sure that the techies cannot leave a fight. You went in. You are committed. There's nothing you can do to escape. The Queen of Pain is doing her best to do the damage here, but it's just not enough. But you're the only output source of damage. Yep, 0 damage from the Spirit Breaker. His charge, it did some damage, but it was onto a pipe barrier. So you can't really do much there. Poor guy, just went in with the charge and couldn't get out.
I will commit this to memory.
Why, thank you.
They waited a little bit to
Radiant's middle tower is under
fix
attack.
some lag issues, and now we are back in action. It was cybercats couldn't get a single kill. They were dying left and right. But the second they got their pipe, the second they got their first round of utility items, they've been kind of unkillable in these fights. Not a single hero of theirs ever came to any kind of a trouble whatsoever. And the first Roche will be going in their favor. Dark Lord gets himself a Aegis. He has the Diffusal. He has the Aghanim Scepter. Next item on the menu. Most likely gonna be a Manta, but no, he wants a Lincoln Sphere. And I like that. It's very much important to have it so that you could go for a split push. And also, once the Morphling gets an Aghanim Scepter, which is going to be now, so that he cannot just turn into you, take away all of your stats.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
20% agility, and then 70 attack speed. That's too much for a PL. But Queen of Pain has an Aghanim Scepter. So these longer fights with a lot of Shadow Strikes coming out, it could change the fights quite a lot. The Queen of Pain does get the level 15. Goes for the talent first rather than maxing out the Shadow Strike. He's not going to be having a maxed up Shadow Strike in the next fight. As cybercats, they secure one little shard for Force Majeure. So the cookies now are going to be even more delicious. Grandma gets herself a new recipe. Usually old people, they don't change their recipes too much because they're just used to some things, but that far, no ego on this old lady. She is ready to learn, even at, what is she, like ancient? As 1,000 years old? Just kidding, Snapfire, you're fine, like 70. Moneymakers. The smoke charging into the enemy triangle. There will be a roar on the Morphling before he uses the morph, and he's dead now. Goes for the Manta. It's not going to be enough. Force Majeure shoots him down. Oh, that's such a good position coming out from the Beastmaster, waiting for the Morphling, waiting for him, and gets the roar in a perfect moment before he could react. If he gets the morph off there, the attribute shift off, he will be able to get himself out, but ifs and buts, they do not count. Slayer. A little bit of a unfortunate positioning for you, my friend. The Glimmer Cape, not that good versus the Dust. Not really gonna be able to contribute much to the fight. The Queen of Pain still no 4 points in the Shadow Strike, so the Aghanim Scepter is just not as powerful currently as it could be. Tormentor taking time for cybercats. Moneymakers. What has happened to this team? They started off the season so well, but they've really had some downs, and losing to Sibe, now they're losing game number 1 to Cybercats. One could argue Cybercats draft is cool. And Techies, he's feeling quite cool at the moment. Here comes the Invoke, he wants to warm you up, but the Techies will already be far enough away to not get caught by the meteor. Goes in with the Spirit Breaker. Onto the Snapfire, that's not going to be something that's going to be working out for with the Mortimer's Kisses. Vierk is not going to be able to survive through this. He had such a great start to the game, but it's just not amounting to much. DK Focus coming forward there with the Blink, just wants to be between Bignam and the rest of his team, but he will be pushed back. The Sonic Wave doing a ton of damage. DK Focus could be taken down there, and Queen of Pain jumping in. There's gonna be a lot of damage being done by Yegor, and the EMP will be taking away his mana. As Slayer, he has been dusted, should be taken down, and Yegor blinks to the side. He'll be going for TP out. He will be successful at getting himself out. The Slayer, he's very tanky. The PLs, they don't really do that much damage to him, but ultimately when there's so many enemies, they will be able to cut him down, finish him off. 2 heroes of Cybercats died. Moneymakers, they lost 3 in the process. Okay. Queen of Pain with an Aghanims, starting to pack a punch. Now the Morphling needs a couple of items for him to really start doing something in these fights. He's thinking about a Butterfly and an Aghanim Shard. Aghanim Shard, I can understand. Butterfly versus the PL, it's good, but it's good at surviving that one hero. The others, not so much. So I would want for him to go for a BKB, actually, just to be able to jump in and fight. You're gonna go in, you're gonna get the Zombie Invoker, the Tornado is gonna be there, the Roar. Like, there's so many chances for them to deal with you, and then the PL will be bringing away your mana. Even if you have a Butterfly, it's not gonna help. I really want to see a BKB. Currently, it's not on the menu for him, but it is on the menu for the Spirit Breaker, and that is something I like. I think that's the right approach. PL, Lincoln's at the ready. That's quite huge. Versus the Morphling, versus the Spirit Breaker. We finally have a good item to work with. And next up is gonna be the Manta. This PL is huge. He's 16,000 net worth. 28 minutes into the game. He's topping the net worth chart. The difference between him and the Morphling is around 1,000 gold. But we all know just how dangerous the PL can be in this matchup. Bogus. He has a blink. He's going to be going for a nullifier. There's going to be a Tornado and Yegor. Will blink to the side. The Sunstrike does find him there for a second, but he's going to have another blink to work with. They're coming to him from all sides, but he's going to be fine. The Meteor, Young G kind of guesses where the Queen of Pain is, but it's a little bit tough of a hero to catch. The Invoker will have a Hex. That will allow you to actually kill the Queen once the time does come. Dark Lord here is level 30 on the PL. That's impressive. The Grandmaster PLs are a very weird type of person. The ones that really want other people to suffer. Yules from the Snapfire, keeping alive a little bit longer. Does have 21 charges in the force with the Hand of God. They're gonna have enough to save him. Now, Bjerk needs to pop the BKB, but he's taking so much damage with the Roar. Now he'll be fine. The Bulldoze was up, so he'll just get himself out of the stun. So far, nobody has died, but the Ice Wall is keeping Moneymakers away. Lucas turned into the PL. He needs to be a little bit careful. Those PL illusions, they still pack a punch, drain your mana. There's 3 shards in Cybercats. The Chen, the Snapfire, and the Beastmaster. The supports got those from the Tormentors, whereas the Beast, he just wanted a dive bomb there, so he bought the shard himself. Morphling might get the shard himself, but for now it's still the Butterfly that he's looking for. I still don't like it. That BKB that he just queued up, that I do like. He's not buying the Eagle song, so maybe he changed his mind. Cybercats, almost 70% win probability. Look at that dip. PL, level 20. He does have the Titan's Liver. He went for the 10% juxtaposed damage talent. So I guess that means yeah, illusions now deal 32%. That's actually an insane talent. Juxtapose is 22% on the highest level, so you increase the power of that spell with the damage output of your illusions quite a lot. We'll see if the PL does want to go for the Aghanim Shard. For those of you guys that don't know, it's Juxtapose becomes an active ability, and it's pretty much the doppel walk that the that the PL used to have a very long time ago. So what happens is that you switch places with an illusion and go invis with your real hero. It's very smooth, so you don't even notice when he uses it unless there's a sentry on the ground or like a gem on your side. It literally looks like if you've played those racing games and then you're chasing your time and you see that remnant that is ahead of you. Yeah, that's what it looks like. Old lead is only 1k. The game is super even. Moneymakers, those early kills, in terms of kills, they're keeping them in it. But they were 7k gold ahead at the 20-minute mark. But everything has changed since then. Cybercats, they're waiting for Roche with Moneymakers making their way over. They're going to use the scan. It's going to make them panic. Vierge, think about going onto the high ground. Yegor with the Shiva's guard. He's going to be seeing Dark Lord. It's time to move out for now. The Shiva's going to be quite big versus the PL. Careful for all of your mana not to be taken away. The BKBs on the Morphling and the Queen, once they do come out, they're gonna be big deals. But also the Morphling, he went for the Butterfly. So that's the item that he wants to use. It's gonna be good versus the PL once you do have a BKB. But before you have it, it's kind of dangerous because the other heroes, the Cybercats, are actually a big problem to you. Arc Lord, Shadow Strike is on him. He knows there's gonna be some screaming there, and everybody of his teammates will be staying away. Doesn't want to take any unnecessary damage. Another tense moment around the pit. Last time Cybercats came out as the victors, close to the Roche, and that has given them the first Aegis. The second one in the cheese. This is what they're battling for now. Even more on the line. They're sending in the Morphling Illusion. This should be quite obvious that it is one. Boker in a Ghost Walk. They're going to be breaking some smokes there. So Cybercats, their smoke. It is going to be unsuccessful as well as they do turn into the PL. That's big. DK Focus, the Nether Strike will be connecting onto him. And the Sonic Wave as well. DK Focus still alive. He wants to scream. He wants to roar. But he might die before it. He will be fed a cookie. The energy will be given to him. And his ulti was used. Slayer going to be destroyed by the Dark Lord from the backside. And DK Focus going for a TP out. He's going to try to live. Not going to be happening. The Queen of Pain does not allow it. The Chen has lost his life as well as Dark Lord continues to go forward. Bignum being protected a little bit by Pavis. But very soon he'll be taken down. Dark Lord, he gets himself a double. It's a 2-for-2 currently, with only the supports of Moneymakers dying, but they do bring down the Beastmaster. Be losing that PL form fairly soon. Spirit Breaker caught. He has to go for a BKB, but the PL packs a punch. Him and his illusions, they really do a lot. The Sunstrike would have secured the kill anyways, even if you had survived. And now the Ice Wall. These Ice Walls have been amazing. Lucas, he's getting frozen. This water, it cannot move that fast. He'll be turning into a piggy right now, but the Queen of Pain standing his ground and actually protecting Lucas, who will wait for him to the side. Yegor is still alive, continuing to get those Shadow Strikes out. And Young GTP out, not gonna be happening. Here comes the cow. Rams his head into the Invoker, breaks his back, and he'll be dying to the damage of Yegor, who's currently beyond godlike after what seemed to be a really bad start for him in the laning phase versus the Invoker. This opens up the Roche. He's gonna be on the dire side, and if Moneymakers want to, they can make their way towards it. But Cybercats, 4 of their heroes are still alive. You did use 2 buybacks, you have to do it. Right, there's no other way. We'll see how fast Cybercats can actually make their way towards there. If somehow Moneymakers could kill the PL, that would be a great opening, because their supports, they have nothing to protect themselves with. Use the reactive taser from Bignum. It really won't help you all that much. He just uses the Doppelganger or a Manta and just continues smashing your face in. But with this Roche, Moneymakers, they'll definitely be in a much better position than they were just a minute ago. Cost them 2 buybacks. Bignum and the Spirit Breaker. But the off-lane duo of Moneymakers, they are still ready for battle. PL does have a Scotty. He's very high on stats. Titan Sliver, making good use of those stats damage-wise as well. Speaking of damage, the Morphling still reigns supreme when it comes to right clicks, and always will. It's just the nature of the hero. 258 agility, that's a lot of attack speed, that's a lot of damage that Cybercats are gonna have to be living through. I don't think PL wants an MKB, but a Bloodthorn will probably come out at some point. So you might just decide that you go for a butterfly yourself. Force Majeure, TP out, not gonna be happening. If you act a little bit too fast around the map, there's gonna be a Queen of Pain coming over just to pick up the pieces there, get the kill for herself, and that juicy 580 gold. Force Majeure, he's very, very farmed, so his life is actually worth a ton of gold.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
We're 37 minutes in, and the second tier 2 will fall
Dire's
now
middle tower
in favor
has
of
fallen.
Moneymakers. The other one on the top lane, they did take away as well. That was a bit longer ago. 21 to 14. The next Wisdom runes not gonna be anytime soon. 4.5 minutes until they're here. Morphling, he really wants that BKB, not buying the shard just yet. Ninja gear at the ready.
For a queen.
Ninja water away. Cybercats, they don't really have many tier 4 items. Yeah, they don't have a single. So they really haven't been able to leave the base all that much and farm. The last outer tower getting gone on. They'll find the Queen of Pain, the Roar, the Hex. They're trying to finish him off, and they're gonna be able to do so. That's your biggest damage dealer. It's time to run. It's time to run now. There's nothing you can do. Bignum in a lot of trouble. He's trying to blast off away, and it's gonna be impossible. The tornado, perfect onto the two of them, and Lucas will lose his Aegis. And I don't know how you get out of this one alive. He does have a BKB TP, so maybe he'll have the HP necessary to live through it. He did get the BKB up, waveform to the side, and it will give him the space and time to get back into the base. But without your Queen of Pain, the damage output non-existent, and it just allows Cybercats to do whatever the hell they want. They have a Nullifier, they have a Hex. Use those two on somebody. There's no saving for you. Like Pavis, Glimmer Cape, all of those things instantly purged off. Morphling does have a BKB. Unfortunately for him, his 9-second charge
Radiant's bottom tower
doesn't work
is
out
under
well for him.
attack.
He will be securing the Tormentor. That Sunstrike, if it had connected, it would have been a complete disaster for Moneymakers. But fortunately
Radiant's
for
middle
Lucas, it's
tower
not what
is under
happened.
attack.
This is what happens when you attack the tower as a Queen of Pain when you don't see anybody on the map. You're not the one with the Aegis. PL going for a Disperser. Their damage output is quite high. The Spirit Breaker is a little bit annoying. Going through all the creeps there. So you won't have a wave any longer, which is quite nice. But the PL is not messing around. He's trying to get the lane of Rax down, or at least the range Raxes, and it seems like that's gonna be something that he succeeds at. The Invoker now has a shard as well, so there's gonna be that EMP that brings you all together. It's not 3 meteors any longer. That's actually quite cool. As the Timeless Relic gets picked up by the Invoker as well, so that's gonna be increasing his damage output to insane heights as well. AK Focus charged up, a lot of damage being done to him. Yegor, he does have his ulti, so they can finish him off before he gets a single spell up. It's gonna be a beautiful tornado, but a little bit too late. Still, it's not only a kill on the Beastmaster, it's also a gem being dropped. Moneymakers, they're gonna be happy to sport 2 of those. One of them theirs, and one of them used to belong to the Chen, used to belong to Cybercats, not any longer. The Chen army, 2 ancients, 1 ancient black dragon, and the other one is the granite golem, ready there to shove out the wave. There's not really much that the Spirit Breaker can do about it. Win probability still in favor of Cybercats. Moneymakers though, nobody can write them off. The Techies is going for an Aghanim Scepter. That's quite good versus the PL. With the PL, you want to move with yourself and all of the illusions, and in that minefield area, it's just not easy to do. The PL though, he's level 25. Ooh, okay, he went for the -4 seconds doppelganger cooldown. This is not your normal PL. The next item on the menu, of course, will be the Bloodthorn, making sure that you can deal with Lucas. But these illusions of the PL are already a big problem. A big problem, not to the Morphling maybe, but every single one of his teammates are going to be in trouble.
Dire's courier has been
PL has a Ninja Gear, Beastmaster Ninja Gear, Snapfire still staying with the Philostone. And actually, they haven't been able to find too many tier 4 tokens. The Invoker has the Timeless Relic, but the supports are gonna have to wait for their turn, and They'll need to be farming some of those neutral items. Level 20 on the Beastmaster. Force Majeure. Gets rammed up by Vierk. The Yules will be protecting him for the time being. He has a cookie to get himself slightly away. Nice jump in for Vierk. The Hex doesn't really do that much versus the Bulldoze. Bignum, a little bit too far. Young G will finish him off with the Sunstrike, but in the end it wasn't even needed. They'll get the Nullifier and the Roar into the Spirit Breaker, but that's really a bad way to combo up your spells. He's gonna be dusted up, hexed up, no Bulldoze, no way of preventing the damage from coming through, and cybercats do finish him off. Last time he did buy back when he died, so that means that this time he will have to wait more than 100 seconds before he touches the land here in the map Dota again. Snapfire has an Aghanim Scepter. A lot of cool items are here. Chen? Guardian Greaves. No, sorry, not Guardian Greaves. The Boots of Bearing at the ready. Mech is the only thing he has. And the Ring of Bassi. What's going to be giving him the Mana Regen Timeless Relic for the Spirit Breaker. So he'll finally be getting his tier 4 as Lucas. Leaves the Wisdom Rune to somebody who needs it more. The Water is wise. Well, doesn't need to be getting any wiser. So considering that your opponent is a PL on the other side who's just going to be hitting level 26, maybe some experience is needed. Yeah. Dying now has the Boots of Bearing as well. cybercats, their PL just seems unstoppable. Unless you can morph into him at the start of the fight, he's just gonna be murdering everybody. He's sending illusions forward, and this tower doesn't really stand much chance. You don't have a glyph. It isn't gonna refresh any longer because you already lost the tier 3, and this could be just the lane of Rax. PL buffed up by the Invoker. They know exactly what the real one is, but that doesn't mean that they can do something about it. He's just gonna be using his illusions to get rid of the Raxes, and that's it. The first lane of Rax gone. You lost the range Rax in the bottom lane. You lost the full set, it seems like, in the mid lane. Maybe the range ones do survive, but we all know that it's all about the melee Rax. Cybercats, just a little bit too powerful for Moneymakers to fight into. Especially without your Spirit Breaker, but even with him, we saw just how easily they deal with him. Now even your BKB Bulldoze is not that big of a deal because there's the Nullifier to remove the Bulldoze through the BKB. The Queen, approaching level 25. I'm guessing you go for the -2 seconds blink cooldown, especially because you do have a shard, so the Sonic Booms will be coming out all the time. Unfortunately here for Moneymakers, the Roche isn't going to be spawning just yet. So it will be a dire side Roche, giving a little bit of an advantage to Cybercats. But Moneymakers, they're already traveling through it. They don't expect that their enemies can kill the Roche that fast, and even if he was alive at the moment, I don't think they would have been able to finish him off in 15 seconds. They don't have anything like a kinetic field to keep him in place. Cybercats, they're not going to be going through the portal. Smart move. DPs to their base, and it's time to go the old-fashioned way. They will be sending the Ancient Grand and the Golem. It's going to be their only loss to find out the positioning of Moneymakers, as the Roche will spawn in 40. Smoke. They're coming over. Moneymakers, are you ready? Cybercats are ready for battle. Lincoln Sphere on the Invoker now as well, giving them even more protection from the Morphling. And the Spirit Breaker, of course. They're going to be taking away the vision there, placed out by Moneymakers. But Moneymakers are going to be doing the same thing. Queen of Pain. Make sure that the ward does die as well, and as he is holding the gem too. These Screamers on both sides, they're going to have the Gem of True Sight.
Radiant's middle barracks are under attack. Radiant's middle barracks has fallen.
Bignum is laughing, but the current situation is no laughing matter. The Roche will spawn. There is a Hawk there on the side, and it is allowing Cybercats to get into a pretty cool position here on the side. But Moneymakers seem to know what's up. So what is up is that the Roche is being targeted by the enemy, and your Spirit Breaker is nowhere to be found. The Queen of Pain did use the Shiva's Guard there, so it doesn't have it at the moment. We'll be sending the Shadow Strikes in. Connects onto the illusions, needs it onto the real hero. There's gonna be some screams flying through. As Dark Lord, he's committing for this. We need to get the ward down. We'll be able to do it. Slayer, the one that had the gem, so he will be the one getting the gold. Go in for the Morphling. Lucas, he sees that the Roche is still not dead. Yegor losing a lot of mana. Needs to blink away. Cheese at the ready. Doesn't have a BKB just yet. He was the Hex. There's gonna be an all-out fight. DK Focus. He has used his ulti. Not too much avail as Dark Lord. He gets the Aegis. And now this is gonna be a disaster. You need to run away, Moneymakers. You need to run away now. Lucas, how do you get away? The EMP just clumps them all together. Here comes a beautiful cookie from Force Majeure. The Morphling's still alive, but not for long. Vierk will soon follow. He did steal the Refresher Shard. The Cheese, I have no idea where it is, but the most importantly, the Aegis is in the hands of the PL. As cybercats clean up the fight without your Morphling. I don't know how you fight the Invoker. Just does so much. That Refresher Shard being stolen, it definitely makes somewhat of a difference. At least you're not going to be dealing with double tornadoes, double hexes, and double meteors flying from the sky. But there's so many other things that you need to be afraid of. Queen of Pain. He has 8,000 gold. Just buy something. Just buy something now, because you're definitely going to be needing it for this defense. Moneymakers, you're doing so well. But yesterday they lost versus Sibe, the team that didn't win a single game before that one. Now Cybercats, they only won one series. They're just not looking so hot. Spirit Breaker nullified, no bulldoze for you. The Sunstrike, it will be shared damage, so he doesn't die in the end. He'll be getting himself back to the base, but this is your tankiest hero. The Sonic Wave gonna be quite nice, and the Queen of Pain, he's gonna be bringing exactly that to Cybercats. They thought they were strong. They thought they had what it takes, but Yegor, no, he jumps to the side into the hands of the PL. Does have that BKB that he just bought, so he's not gonna be allowing his mana to be taken away by the PL. And Yegor just stands his ground and protects the base, killing 2 heroes in the process. He almost got 4 of them. The PL probably would have survived anyways. That was just some insane damage output coming out from the Queen. 12,000 damage. It looked like he did it in a span of 2 seconds. That far, level 20. Aeon Disc at the ready. Went with the 60 Mortimer Kisses impact damage though. In these fights, I haven't really seen many Mortimer's Kisses. They're usually somewhere in the back of the fight. Here, he does have a Yasha Kaya. That's quite nice in terms of damage output for the Spirit Breaker, because I think that the most that he can hope for is for that first initial hit to be doing as much damage to the opponent. So level 25, quite important for him. The game is still not done. Cybercats, they might have the strongest hero on the deck, but the Queen of Pain has shown that under the right circumstances, Yegor can kill not one but the entirety of the Cybercats team. Gives a Refresher Shard help there. Doesn't have it any longer. Speaking of Refresher Orbs, the Invoker now has one, so he'll be able to contribute even more to fights. If somebody gets caught with a double Hex, he's just gonna murder them. He's even searching for solo kills, I think, at the moment. Yegor doing his best to protect the tier 3. He will be able to do it. That's your last tier 3 standing, and barely standing. Morphling can turn into the PL. Maybe just turn into the Snapfire just to get the extra stats. I don't know. Just feels hard to play. Queen of Pain, Yegor, you don't have a Lincoln Sphere. You have to be careful. They're coming for you. There's the Hex. They're gonna have another one if need be. They have the Suns, and he didn't go for a Refresher, so Yegor, they're gonna find him with the Sunstrike, but he'll be far enough away already. Has the Boots of Travel too, so his TP only lasts for 2 seconds. As Moneymakers looking to force some things here, going high ground. He's gonna send his illusion. Young G doing his best to just keep everybody away with the meteors. He'll go for the 2 Chaos Meteors. Then go for the Alacrity damage and speed, which could be nice with the PL on your side. Actually, they found the Invoker. Young G, he didn't expect this. He definitely wasn't expecting them to wait for him. That's a big hero dead. To break the Lincolns, you just kill him. Beautifully done by Moneymakers, waiting in a perfect position. They had some good vision around the map, so they knew that the Invoker was coming. Even if you're inside of the ghost walk, that doesn't prevent the sentries and the wards, the combinations to see you. Very nice. Tormentor on the menu. They already have shards on every single one of their heroes, so it's just gonna be some XP and gold for them. 280 gold for everybody, and the XP is gonna be solid as well. The Undying goes for the Tombstone on Death. The thing is, versus the PL, versus the Snapfire, that extra Tombstone doesn't really give much to you. I guess he's hoping that once he dies, at least some vision will be given to his teammates about where to move. Cybercats ahead in terms of gold, ahead in terms of levels, but pretty barely for this part of the game. So it actually comes down to execution in team fights. Having the Invoker, you have better chances of using everything perfectly, but that doesn't mean that you will. If he misses a couple of spells, if you together miss a couple of spells, then Moneymakers, it's a little bit easier for them to dish out damage. Jumping in onto the Snapfire, he has been charged, the Morphin going in, Force Majority seeing clearly, and the Aeon Disc will get popped, immediately removing the stun from the charge. Vierk, think about using ulti there on Dark Lords to break the Lincolns, use the Morph. Lucas goes for the BKB just to make sure that this tower falls. Last time around, they fought around this tower, it went really badly for them. Lucas has been found! Young G is a god! He is a young god for sure, but a strong one at that as well. They're going to be overlapping the Roar and the Tornado, but doesn't really matter as Lucas will be taken down either way. What a beautiful find with a Sunstrike. They never would have been able to find him like that if he just didn't guess so perfectly the Morphling's exact location. And well, then it was easy. You jump in, you break the Lincolns, you hex him up, and the rest is history. They still need to be communicating a little better with the Roar and the Tornado. It's like, I'm roaring, right? Roar! And then you know that you're not going to be using the Tornado onto that target. No pain, no buyback. Doesn't have the gold. Nothing does. Yegor will try to stand his ground. This is the PL illusions. It's a little bit tough. It will be used just to slow down the push slightly. Dark Lord doesn't really care. He'll get the hex onto the Queen. He should be able to live, especially with the Force Staff being there. The charge as well, keeping the PL away, but he's just gonna continue going out with the Doppelgangers. Of course, the Shadow Strikes will be doing a lot of damage. Jumping in from Yegor, they want to go for DK Focus. The buyback coming through. There's the Aeon Disc of DK Focus, and Tornado will be removing the bulldoze from the Spirit Breaker. He does have a BKB. We'll get to use it right now. The Nullfire is still there, and the Sunstrike will do minimal amounts of damage. Vierk turns around, goes in with the charge. They're trying to prevent the Mortimer's Kisses, and Force Majority not going to be getting out those any longer. The Queen of Pain is dead. Doesn't have a buyback. Used up all of your gold. Vierk without the BKB. He's just not that strong of a hero, and the Morphling is morphing into agility. He has to be very careful. Buyback from the Snapfire. He's the only casualty for Cybercats. And in a 5 versus 3 scenario, and the PL, he's gonna make it 1,000 to 3. A big army of strong soldiers is marching onto the home of Moneymakers, and they can just hear that money going here out of the pockets of Moneymakers into Cybercats. Game number 1, Moneymakers will lose. They're just continuing with their loss streak. It started yesterday with Sibe. They probably got very disappointed that there's no more chances of getting into Division 1 though. To be honest, with this kind of play style, they would just get demolished for sure. Even though this team with the same roster has already competed in Division 1, at one point they were looking good, but then something happened and they are just not looking as good as they were before it. Cybercats, I had a lot of faith in this team going into Division 2. But they dropped the ball. They got eliminated, but at least here they're protecting their honor versus Moneymakers, and at least in game number 1 they will be getting a victory, which for the last 20 minutes in this game number 1 it looked like it will go in their favor, and in the end it did. So we will be taking a short break before the players do get ready, but once they do, we're gonna be jumping into game number 2 instantly.